Hello language lovers, a quick announcement in Spanish. Hola amantes de los idiomas, este video estará en inglés. No olviden activar los subtítulos si no dominan esta lengua. Y recuerden que he hecho un video donde explico cómo usarlos. And now, let's begin. The first thing that you have to do is to ask yourself why you need a certification. If it's necessary to apply for a job, for some university, for a migration requirement to a country, for curriculum reasons, etc. Once you have decided if a certification is necessary, then you should research if there are certifications for the language you want. If indeed there are certifications for that language, then research if in the place where you live there are centers that apply them. And with that also include the cost, the schedule, and requirements that may come to be requested in each center. Besides, all the certifications that I have done had been in person, although some tasks had to be done connected to the internet, but always in the assessment center. In the wake of the pandemic, many certification modalities may have changed and possibly can be done online. Again, you will have to research whether the certification can be done in that modality. In that case, it may no longer be necessary to go to the test center. You also have to find out the type of certification. This includes if they assign you a level or if you need to certify a specific level. Also, if it has a limited validity or if it's for life. If failed tests can be reattempted in the next call, and if the approved parts can be saved. Also know if this certification is recognized. Many times there are certifications that not necessarily are recognized for any job, government, school, or institution that requires them. Once it's done, now you need to find out the levels that they certify. If the certification assigns a level, then there is not so much problem for this part. But if not, then you have to be aware that the certification will only be valid for a specific level, the level you are applying. If you study in some center, it's very likely to know at what level you are, since they will be consistent with the courses taught there. And if the school where you study also makes certifications, it's better, since there is a greater guarantee that the certification is in tune with the contents of the institution. A greater warranty, but it's not an absolute warranty. In case of not following a course assigned to a certain level, then it would be good to consult with some professor who can give his estimate of what level could it be that you can certify. Remember also that skills can be mastered differently. There will be someone who can read and write better than they can speak or listen, and vice versa. So it's better to think of one certification appropriate to the least mastered skill, since mastered skills almost certainly will have a passing grade. But if a passing grade isn't obtained in the least mastered skill, the certification will not be obtained. When you're more sure what type of certification to do, then you have to find out if there are courses for that certification, or in case of autonomous preparation, find materials for that certification. Materials are not necessarily limited to textbooks or designed for an exam preparation course. It's also very good to look for materials that are designed for the levels one is thinking of certifying. Be it audios, books, or exercises appropriate to the level. For example, on the internet, sometimes on a page dedicated to media, there may be audios or designed articles or edited for a basic or intermediate level. Another indispensable material, perhaps the most indispensable of all, are the certification and exams that were previously applied. On the internet, it's very likely to find materials, particularly on the sites of institutions that endorse certifications, and in them we can see how the certification is structured, what kind of questions are asked in exams, what kind of answers are expected in each test, and that will give you a familiarity with them. This type of issues are seen a lot in courses and exam preparation materials, but many times it's better to have as many test samples as possible. You have to focus on a lot of the type of exercises that are applied. Basically, what you have to do is study how to do the certification, beyond simply having an adequate level. Remember that I have said many times, we can have very good fluency, and yet some tasks may be focused in persuasion or mastery of a subject. The best is perhaps to see what kind of questions they demand when you have to persuade, or what types of topics are the most common that can be requested. You have to prepare mentally. As I told you, the evaluation is going to be very exhausting, and each test that is done will always have an important role, even if it's the last test of the day. You have to go well fed, bring some lunch and water, some medicine for a headache or stomach pain, or whatever else you require that can come to pass with your body and distract you. During the certification, it's very important to observe things that are out of place. Certifications cost money and aren't cheap. And it's not fair that the lack of quality of the evaluation center has an effect on the grade. So it's best to be sure that the tests are being performed correctly. Don't be afraid to approach the evaluators if this happens, such as faults in the audio, sound quality, problems with the internet connection, inappropriate hours, and so on. It's very important that you read the instructions and you are familiar with the tests. Even so, preparing mentally does not imply anything else the previous days, and the day of the evaluation also implies after the evaluation, to have this safety mentality, because you have to be aware that sometimes you will need to take certifications more than once, either because you didn't really have the level, or for any reason that has prevented the effective note and cannot be solved with some second consideration. And also because if the certification is passed, maybe later you will have to re-certify at a higher level, whereupon the same process is repeated. Thank you for staying here. Don't forget to like this video, share it, leave me your comments, and subscribe if you haven't done it already. See you in the next video with another language.